Alright, I think it's about time to take a look at a card that has been starting to pop up more and more on the Timeless Arena ladder. This is Abhorrent Oculus. This is a 3-drop that has overstated stats, but has some restrictions to its casting. So for 3 mana, we get this eye thing. But if we want to cast it from hand, we have to exile 6 cards from our graveyard. Now, you wouldn't really need to look at this for very long to figure out that this is a clear and obvious reanimation target. If we get this into the graveyard by discarding it to a Psychic Frog, thought seizing it out of our own hand, or otherwise milling it over by some effect, like with Stitcher's Supplier, which we have in this deck, well, then we can just reanimate or unearth it for pretty much no cost to us. And then we have a 5/5 flyer that is going to give us 2/2s on our opponent's upkeep every turn. And that's pretty darn good. I'm still running Atraxa in this deck, but now Atraxa is just the 2 of, because Abhorrent Oculus is a win con in of itself. And you don't have to pay 7 life to get it into play. You can also just hard cast it without having any really crazy casting restrictions. So we're going to be putting these 2 up to the test today, and I think it's going to be pretty clear that Abhorrent Oculus is the way forward. In my testing games, it has been really, really nice to go Abhorrent Oculus and then Manifest Dreading another Abhorrent Oculus. So if they remove the original one, we are able to turn our other one face up and then continue the fun. Really, really good card. I've been liking this a lot. I think that we're going to start seeing a lot of this in the mid-range decks in Timeless. Psychic Frog here, really good enabler for Abhorrent Oculus. You also get it on curve potentially. Not that we're really ever casting this as a 3-drop, but you know. We can basically cast it on turn 2 by going Stitcher's Supplier turn 1 and then reanimate turn 2. We can even do it all at once on turn 2, no matter how we want to do it. So Psychic Frog in here, Snapcaster Mage, just flashback or reanimate or unearth. And then just, you know, it's kind of a situation where we have creatures, we have spells. The spells are good, the creatures are good. And you put it all together, we should have a pretty strong deck. No Bowmasters in this build. I run a copy of Bowmasters in the Sultai version of this deck, which you guys will see later on the channel. But for now, let's enjoy some Reanimate Oculus and see what the floor of this card truly is in Timeless. This episode of Full Control MTG is brought to you by Patreon and your viewership. If you want to support the channel financially, the Full Control MTG Patreon is the best place to do so. With the Shockland tier, you get access to videos as soon as they are recorded and edited. Don't wait to get your hands on another Full Control MTG deck list. Otherwise, it's your support for the channel that keeps me going. Thanks for being here and enjoy the video. Here we go, round 1. We have an Oculus in hand. We have Brainstorm. So we just need to find Reanimate in some way. This is not super great because we need a way to discard these and we don't have a frog. I might take a mulligan here and look for something else. Reanimate plus Stitcher Supplier is pretty nice. I'll actually put back the Atraxa to do that. And I think with this I'm pretty happy. So we can go Stitcher Supplier turn 1, turn 2 Reanimate. If that gets countered, then turn 3 and 4 Snapcaster Mage can go off. H-Grace Chapel. I have seen Orzhov Belcher. I've played it on the channel as well. So that could be something that we are looking to see today. No hits on our Stitcher Supplier. That's quite unfortunate. Oh, this is, I think, Belcher. Are they just dropping a Belcher right now? Yo, let's go. That's fun. Alright, well, unfortunately, Reanimate doesn't do anything. I can attempt right here to hit something. But I think I'm likely to die here to a Shock to Land. Here's a Surveil. And yeah, we're not going to really have any moves against Goblin Char Belcher. We do actually get an Atraxa back, which is nice, but I think we are about to be very, very dead. Unless they're planning on playing a tap land this next turn. It would need to be like H-Grace Chapel or something. Alright, well, we find our creature, we find a Fatal Push, we'll take a Demonic Tutor and a land. Yeah, unfortunately, the opponent's going to have us here. We'll attack, put him down to a mere 16, and then we're going to get domed by a Belcher. Would have been nice to see what else they were actually playing in this deck, but not all things are going to happen. So they take it, they activate right here, shock for 3, and we are dead. Alright, well, round 1 went in, round 1 went out. We have died. Now I'm curious to see what build they were doing. This is actually a little bit different. So this, I believe, is Grief, Solitude, Sacrifice. And seeing Vein Ripper in here, I think they're also playing Sorin. They are playing Sorin. Okay, yeah, so this is just Sorin cheating plus Pitch Elemental Sacrifice in a Belcher deck. It's pretty nice. You can either do this, you can also do black-red if you want to do Fury. And then in that case, you're able to have access to Arclight Phoenix combo as well. It's kind of really interesting to see that now these sort of early combo decks are pivoting around the early acceleration of Sacrifice as like a way to cheat on your mana. Pretty sweet. Yeah, I think anything that's core black and gives access to both Dark Ritual and Sacrifice with the Pitch Elementals is really strong. I wonder if black-green could work. Endurance is not very much mana, but it is technically Dark Ritual. So, kind of interesting. Anyway, that was round 1. Let's hop into round 2 and try to play something where we don't get comboed out so early. Alright, round 2. Let's see if this one can go a little better. Reanimate Thoughtseize, so we can Thoughtseize ourselves. It'll take us till turn 2 to make it work. I'm interested. Take a Surveil first. If we can hit an Oculus at any point, that's also just worth it. Another Reanimate, we will take that. That gives us some recourse in case the first one gets countered. And we do have 2 Thoughtseizes, so we can check them for interaction. Oh, Witchbless Meadow, it might be another Belcher matchup. That's crazy to see 2 of those in a row. So I think we're definitely Thoughtseizing here. Again, we Surveil. I would be happy for a land, to be honest, but alright, this works. So they could potentially play Belcher on turn 2. I think I will need to Thoughtseize here. Just got to be ready for that. They're holding up some Pitch Elemental. Yeah, okay, so definitely got the right read here. We need to get rid of Sacrifice. That's their way to extra mana here, and then we can start taking the Belchers. Cool. They actually don't have a second land drop, so they're pretty much stuck here. Atraxa is just going to be a refill for me on the Reanimate, so it will cost a life to do. We are in the driver's seat for sure here, though, and nice. The Abhorrent Oculus is pretty great as well. Now, this one is also one that gets solituded, unfortunately. But it is not as bad. So now I can Thoughtseize again, take out a Belcher. I could also wait one turn to see if they had Sacrifice, they would have done it now. It's a situation where if they Sacrifice, they can get the Belcher out, but they can't activate it. So maybe instead of Thoughtseizing, I just want to play a Snapcaster Mage here and start to go to town. Like, that's an annoying Solitude target, and if they kill it, then I can try to get a Abhorrent Oculus out. Alright. There's second land. You gotta watch out for 7. 7 is the magic number for them. They're one off of a Solitude that gets sacrificed. Okay, Unearth. Great. So that's gonna be a way to do my Abhorrent Oculus stuff. I will attack. And then am I Thoughtseizing? Like, I don't know. They could have a second land here, which starts to mean bad things for me. Let's attack. And I could also just take out a second white card for Solitude. Alright, what is that unknown card? That will decide what my plan forward is. It's a sacrifice, okay. So we take another sacrifice here. Surprising they didn't go for it. I guess they knew they didn't want to pass the turn with a Belcher. They're trying to set up an actual kill here. So now, unfortunately, if I take an Atraxa, I'm not in a great spot. But then if I take Atraxa... Oh, yeah, I can't take it twice. Okay, I think I'm not interested in paying 7 life just to get 2 Solitudes out of their hand. We may end up cycling this Unearth. Okay, so I take one of my cards here, and they'll know what I'm on. Yeah, I think I'm very uninterested in getting rid of the, using a Reanimate on an Atraxa here. They've pitchcast a Necropotent, so that makes sense. Reanimate's a surprise. I would not have thought that they would have taken that. As we fill up the graveyard, we're getting close to Abhorrent Oculus from hand. Watery Grave here, so I can unearth Cycle. Don't think I want to do that. I can always reanimate their Grief, though. Let's pay 2 life. No, let's not pay 2 life. Let's reanimate. Let's take their Grief. Now we have Aggression. We care mostly about taking their Solitude, because now that'll allow us to reanimate, except we only had 1 reanimate. So we take the Solitude no matter what here. We have our attacks, and then if I can get this Abhorrent Oculus into the graveyard somehow, then I unearth it. If I can do that, then I'm very certain I can win this game. As is, I feel pretty confident. They've been bad about drawing lands. I'm worried about the pitch cast option opening up for them. This Stitcher Supplier is great. Might be able to hit something worth unearthing here. A Psychic Frog is great. Cool. So now we have card advantage, and we have a way to get our cards into the graveyard once we find more reanimation effects. It'll be Grief here. I guess I'd probably just discard my hand to Psychic Frog here to get value out of it. It's like the worst thing they could have is Surgical, but they'd take something and Surgical it anyway. At least this way I'm getting my Psychic Frog activations. And I would have probably just put both cards into the graveyard anyway. I guess I could have cast the Abhorrent Oculus, so that's probably what they would have taken. But, you know, it's all good. They will do the sacrifice here, and they will get a Belcher out. It's not a win. But we also don't win this turn, so they have a Belcher. If they draw an untapped land, they can still win the game. What will we draw? It's a Stitcher Supplier, so do I discard that to Psychic Frog? I think that would be a good idea. 3, 6, 9, 10. They're going to be at 1. It doesn't really matter either way. I'll at least fill up my graveyard a little bit. We do get to draw a card as well, so now I think I'm interested in surveilling here. Polluted Delta can go into the graveyard, then we Stitcher Supplier, and pretty much it's either we win or they win next turn, so let's see what happens. Fatal Push kind of sucks, oh well. Did they find it? If they had it, I think they'd play it. We must have won the game. All right. Cool. Well, that was a really, really slow one. Thoughtseizes definitely came in handy that game. Glad we kept them in the deck. Let's go to round 3. All right, let's go. Round 3. So we don't have many creatures here. I think I would love to put this one back. They have kept 7. I would need to have 6 here. Keeping this 6 is pretty solid. The Oculuses need to go to the graveyard, though I think 1 is probably enough in hand. We might need to disrupt with Thoughtseize, and then the Brainstorm can, unfortunately with these lands, not do anything. Okay, Reanimate. So I can Thoughtseize myself, reanimate an Oculus next turn. Okay. I can also Brainstorm to kind of hide that in case they Thoughtseize me. I'm looking to see them tap out, and then I'll go for it. If they don't do anything like this, I'm going to try to Brainstorm, get them to bite here. They will not. Let's see, so we can put an Atraxa back. We can attempt to reanimate the Atraxa. Fatal Push is going to be good in hand. We'll draw the Oculus, and then I think we'll shuffle away the Atraxa. Yeah, and then Thoughtseize Fatal Push might be nice. Okay, so draw the Oculus. Okay, so then we'll put a Polluted Delta out, get ready to shuffle away. We'll Thoughtseize them. If they don't have anything, or they counterspell this, I could think about reanimating, but it doesn't feel, I don't feel ready for that yet. I think that they will, I think they'll have answers. Well, you know what? Yeah, if we had not been able, if we had, like, you know, a Surveil land here and could have put the tracks into the graveyard, that could have been nice. It is what it is. We'll take our Surveil now. And a Polluted Delta. We already have 4 lands. We're fine. So we are now 4 cards out of 6 for Abhorrent Oculus. If they tap out for 1 ring here, could work. Lorien revealed, okay. I'm not going to write off them being on Omni Show just yet, but I think this is probably Dimir Control. Fatal Push is decent to have in hand. We'll just set up with our colors. Say go. They have not seen Atraxa. They have not seen Abhorrent Oculus. As far as they know, it's a mirror match. So both of us are going to probably be towing around the Brainstorms and Bowmasters. These 2 to 4 mana plays are probably ones where neither of us really wants to commit to the board. And both of us are going to be looking for ways to punish the other. Alright, so they play Baleful Strix. I'm going to kill that on end step. And while I could reanimate it, I don't think I'm particularly interested in that. Alright. So we know that they have the Lorien revealed. May or may not indicate a counterspell, who knows. They've done well to withhold information here. Now I have a Brainstorm. I'll crack that out if we get out from under Bowmaster's situation. Cycle the Lorien revealed, so now might be the time that I want to go and do my Brainstorm. We're looking to hit a fetch land here, shuffle away some things. We do get it. I like the Thoughtseize. I like the Stitcher Supplier. I'll put the Oculus back for now because we're going to draw it. Oh, and then what's the second card? Maybe the second card is Reanimate, but then I don't really want to get rid of that. Thoughtseize is important. Fatal Push is important. Stitcher Supplier does turn on my Reanimate. I think that we already have a target in their graveyard. Maybe I just don't play. Maybe I don't crack the Polluted Delta, to be honest. That might be the play. We'll put Abhorrent Oculus second. Oh, no, what am I saying? I can mill over with Stitcher Supplier and then Reanimate. Okay. So I Thoughtseize. I can Fatal Push a thing on this end turn, on the end step prior to my turn. Go Thoughtseize, Stitchers, Reanimate. Okay. All right, gotta make sure this is right. All right, there we are. All right, let's see what they'll play. They shock here. Okay. Well, I will draw. I'll play my Polluted Delta. I will Thoughtseize. Do they have 2 counter spells or just 1? They definitely have at least 1. You got it. So that's a bad mana drain as far as they're concerned. I can attempt a Stitcher Supplier here. They definitely have a counter spell, and they'll just let that through. And I think I will leave the Abhorrent Oculus for now. Should I? Oh, man. It feels like I'm going to be going into mana drain if I do that, so I'm going to pass. I'd like to kind of get a 1-2 play here or wait for them to tap out. Now, I mean, I just realized that I am opening up to them having a Reanimate of their own, so, you know, it's one thing to consider. We'll attempt Polluted Delta here. Surveil. I don't know why I said attempt Polluted Delta. That's always happening. We do not need another Surveil land. We'll take, hopefully, a non-land card. We found one. It's an Abhorrent Oculus that we can cast from hand. So we go Reanimate, then Abhorrent Oculus from hand. We'll need them to have 2 pieces of removal. They go to 15. We will attempt to Reanimate on our Abhorrent Oculus. We would be taking 3 damage if this enters. I think this is probably worth a counterspell to them. They will take Flare of Denial here. You got it. Okay, and so now we have the double spell of Abhorrent Oculus again. We'll get rid of the lands first. Those are our worst ones to be using in this. And we'll take one of the Thoughtseizes. Alright, so is the second counterspell here? They surely could have it. And it'll just be a Fatal Push. They could have something else as well to... they could have Shieldred's Edict, possibly. There goes my Snapcaster Mages. Or one of them, at least. We'll end turn here. They did not have a permanent leave the battlefield, so they can't Fatal Push. They do have the Shieldred's Edict, though. Fair play for them. Alright, so we are pretty much hellbent looking at each other here. I think it'll come down to who draws the Psychic Frog first. Fatal Push, say go. I'm happy that I have a Fatal Push in hand here. Tamiyo, I'm not super interested in that unless they go for the Brainstorm. We will just continue to go attempting on this Abhorrent Oculus. We do get it. Now we move to their turn. Alright, we finally resolved one of these and we have a Manifest Dread. So unfortunately, can't pay the mana cost for this Atraxa. Would love to be able to, but that will just not be a thing. Alright, they cannot block. We have a Thoughtseize now. We're going to hit the hand. That will remove one of their counter spells. So we know that they play Spell Snare, and we know they have no more counter spells at the moment. We'll attempt to get them to block with the Tamiya. We can always Fatal Push if they draw a Brainstorm. And they will just take 2 damage over a few turns with Tamiyo. Sure. And turn, say go. Flooded Strand, you got it. Take that Surveil. Or take Mystic Sanctuary, possibly. Yeah, there we are. And will they take Brainstorm? Oh, Lorien Revealed makes total sense. Alright. And we will take a Snapcaster Mage. That's actually kind of great. What can we do? We don't play we don't play counter spells currently in this build, but that would be nice to be playing because I'd be able to snap that back. Well, actually, no. When this thing entered face down, so it does not enter when it turns face up. It's not going to matter. Okay, so they'll get to investigate. We'll wait till they cast Lorien Revealed. There's Lorien Revealed. Now we blow him out, and that is game. All right, nice. We were able to make it work, I believe. They can still find removal here. We do find the Baleful Strix. You got it. But we can just drain them with Abhorrent Oculus triggers in the upkeep. If we find removal, it can work. Turning this into a 2-1 doesn't matter. All right, we'll keep this in hand here, go in with these 2 creatures. And we're looking to hit a useful creature off the Oculus if possible. They trade, and we go to their turn, trigger Oculus, or they must have Fatal Push here. All right, you got it. Got to find untapped black here. They actually don't shock, so we will get a Abhorrent Oculus. They did not have Fatal Push. Continue to take the Snapcaster Mages. Not really the case that I'm going to be... Actually, you know, you could make a case for having to do it the other way, where I put the Snapcaster Mage into the graveyard because it's an unearthed target. So possibly that was the wrong thing to do. Oh well, it is what it is. Another Baleful Strix. They are hanging on there. And one final thing. One final turn, hopefully. Alright. Here we are. We are just drawing lands up the wazoo down the stretch here. But we're getting ever so close. If our Manifest Dread can hit something good, it's going to be nice. So they will be able to take out 2 things this time. That's pretty good. But at least I can continue to take out these Baleful Strixes, hopefully. They might actually not even bother with that. Yeah, that's pretty smart of them. Baleful Strix is a nice blocker. Yeah, they can afford to go to 4 here. I just need to hit another Abhorrent Oculus here. How many are away right now? You only had... Okay, we had the one that's already in the graveyard, sure. And this is just a Snapcaster Mage. We pass, go to their turn. Misty Rainforest. Again, we're just hoping to dodge Fatal Push. Fatal Push actually does bring them back into this game. Okay, can we finally hit something? No, we cannot. We'll put Demonic Tutor into the graveyard. Treasure Cruise. All right. I mean, sure. I think actually this would be very good as a Bowmasters. Possibly I'd like to add Bowmasters into the blue-black version of this build. It's in my Sultai one, but I think I'm starting to realize that I definitely do want that in this deck, just to be able to turn up at instant speed for interactions like this. So it's not to say that this one can't get away from us. I need to count my opponent's graveyard here. So we see one fatal push so far. Are there really only one fatal push? Wow, okay, that's a surprise. Well, it looks like we're getting to our turn here. Both of us seem to be drawing pretty poorly at the moment. All it takes is one card. It's an Atraxa. That is not for me. Okay, well, we continue with our attacks. And we're going to get opponent down to almost dead here. They have another Bowmasters. They're going to do the same thing, possibly even going to 1. All right. And they will block both. Okay, sure. So now Shieldred's Edict is a little bit problematic for me. Yeah, unfortunately, Atraxa cannot come down. Maybe I do actually want to prepare for a situation where I actually hardcast an Atraxa. So I think they have the... Okay, that's sort of the same thing. We're fine to recast this next turn, but then they're likely to have a counterspell. All right, counterspell-wise, 2 mana drain. Just 2 mana drain. Yeah, there must be another mana drain in hand. I mean, what can I really do except try it again, right? We'll go... Keep 1 Snapcaster. Edict is good. We just want to keep at least 1 of everything. Atraxa, we would like 1 of... I think I only have 1 Thoughtseize. Get rid of a Reanimate. I want to keep all the Oculuses as possible. That is another Unearth to get rid of. Alright, I'll get rid of 2 Brainstorms, and then... Do I already have a Fatal Push in here? I do. Okay, cool. So then Fatal Push is the last card. Okay. I think they do have the counterspell here. That would make a lot of sense. Flare Denial, sure. And so now, they can still make it work with this Baleful Strix. Both players, 2 cards in hand. Them with 3, me with effectively 1. Trax is kind of dead currently. Here's the Psychic Frog that I really wanted, and I just have to keep pushing against their counter magic. Eventually they won't have it. Yeah, Spell Snare. So we're looking at possible 12 counter spells. And then what are their finishers? They also have Psychic Frog. So now things get scary. I have to have a blocker for the Psychic Frog. I'm not going to have it, so we might actually die here. We take up to 4 this turn, so they can make it, if they want to be very aggressive, a 2-turn game. If they drew 1 counter spell, they know they have me. And I think, yeah, we're going to finally lose to a Psychic Frog that resolved, unless this Oculus goes down. I think they probably have the ability to deal with that. I'm pretty low on Snapcaster Mages. I will probably go like this, and Atraxa will kill me out of the graveyard, so that is an easy one to get rid of. A counterspell does it. Let's see if the Psychic Frog found it. That it did. So, unfortunately, I think a little bit of deck construction could have gone a long way here. I think Bowmasters over some of the fluff that we have, maybe even going down to like 3 or 2 on the Snapcaster Mages could have been good. But, yeah, well played by the opponent. They absolutely hung on in there. They'll delve away something here, I believe. Let's look at this build here. A lot of use out of Flare of Denial. I was really happy to see that. Often that's not something that happens, but Flare of Denial plus Tamiyo is not a bad game plan. Overall, pretty great out of them. I think this was a really nice game, and I would pretty much only change some aspects of my land base to hardcast this Atraxa that just rotted in my hand, and then I would make sure that some Bowmasters exist in this deck to be turned up with the Oculus. Overall, we got to do their thing, and they showed a very strong control game plan. This was a pretty nice one. All right, so that was round 3. We got 2 more to go. Here's round 4.
Okay, here we go. This is round 4. Bunch of Thoughtseizes, but we don't really do anything to advance our own game plan, so I'm going to mulligan this one. I like an Unearth plus Abhorrent Oculus. Can't get an Atraxa back, so we'll do that. I think my graphics were not correct. Now they're better. Okay, so Surveil or a Polluted Delta. We'll take the Surveil. Alright, and I don't need more lands. Gotta fill that graveyard. Shock that, and then we're gonna Fatal Push this guy. Don't need to Unearth, but I could do a Brainstorm. I think I'll Polluted Delta here and try to just get another Surveil here. Let's Fatal Push before they can get anything else up to hold. And we'll pass. Another Ocelot Pride. We'll take the Surveil here. So I'm not really setting myself up to avoid a Brainstorm lock here, which is a bit awkward. Put this back, and we have 4 of 6 cards. We'll have 5 in graveyard very soon. Okay, that's not the best. Let's take a Brainstorm first. We might find a fetch land. We do find a fetch land, that's good. And then we can Thoughtseize away their next turn. Polluted Delta, I guess, will be the one. So let's do that. Play Polluted Delta, and then we'll Thoughtseize. So we gotta worry about Bowmasters. A Flage is a problem for us, but Flage doesn't kill Oculus. I suppose we'll take Thoughtseize here. An Oculus should be able to do pretty well for us. And then we do have enough cards to just straight up cast it next turn, and then we have double Unearth in case they remove it. I think that's fine. Opponent will get their Ocelot Pride going, and I think their problem is they just do not have lands. So let's try to abuse that. Alright, we do have full surveillability here in this build of the deck. I do like a Psychic Frog as well. Alright, so we're going to start with the Oculus. While they don't have removal for it, and then we'll leave, let's see, I think I can get rid of the Brainstorm here. I'll get rid of Thoughtseize, actually. Oh, right, I can keep one. I'm going to keep the Fatal Push. Okay, cool. So if the last card is Fatal Push, I'll probably just not really care. In the graveyard, let's keep the things that we can Snapcaster Mage back. Alright, so we got 7 power here on turn 3. They have Bowmasters now. That's something. And Ocelot Pride does not get to do its thing. We'll go Psychic Frog here. Psychic Frog can discard an Oculus, and then we can unearth that same Oculus, and then we'll attack for 5. Pretty sweet. And this may be the crushing inevitability that we need. We'll pass here, keeping the 2/2 back since they have Bowmasters. Alright, so that will be 1 Bowmasters. I assume that goes to face. Yes, it does. And double Manifest Dread. We're looking to hit creatures here. Psychic Frog is nice. And, oh, Reanimate would have been nice to draw. But we'll put that in the graveyard so Snapcaster Mage can get us Atraxa back. So we got a big board here. There's a Flage. Let's see if they target my Frog. Okay, just one of these. This is the land. So we can, if we hold up mana, we can save our second face down card if we need to. And Ocelot Pride, we'll get to do Ocelot Pride things, but it is really not that bad for us. We're going to keep this Polluted Delta in hand for flipping one of our Psychic Frogs, and with our other Psychic Frog jumping, we should have lethal. Alright, cool. We will take round 4. That was pretty strong and really just shows you what a couple of Oculuses on the battlefield can really do. Alright, that was round 4. Here comes round 5.
Alright, here's run 5, and hopefully my audio is a little better. I've made some changes to my input source, and hopefully that has resulted in some better sounding audio from me. This hand, I do not know if I like. A lot of mill, a lot of brainstorm. Opponent has mulligan, so I think I will too. We're looking for Unearth Reanimate. Don't find them, but we do have brainstorm with a polluted delta. I think that's fine enough. And then I think the Snapcaster Mage goes back, or does the second brainstorm. Maybe it's the second brainstorm, because Snapcaster Mage can hit a reanimate or something. Alright, maybe we get Thoughtseize here. Lose my frog. Alright, that's fair. It's a Grief, possibly Grief Reanimate. Alright, they'll take one creature. Will they take second creature? Alright, there's not that after all. We are officially back in Grief Scamland. Grief, of course, not being banned in Timeless, though it did get the ban hammer in some other Eternal formats, that is. We'll actually just draw a Psychic Frog anyway. That's kind of sick. We're going to Surveil here, though, on turn 1. That's 4 damage a turn. Not going to be super pleasant for us to have to deal with. And they'll go Verdant Catacombs here. What are we looking to find? Hopefully it's a tap land on both sides of the spectrum. No, it'll be Blood Crypt here. They got a Bowmasters. That's actually not terrible to see. I can eat their Grief unless their last card is removal. We'll take a Surveil. Fatal Push, beautiful. Go to my turn. Play the Gloomlake Verge, and we go Psychic Frog. Okay, so now one would hope that we have an answer to Grief, and that Bowmasters can't really attack. Yeah, they can take either of these, and I can still cast a Fatal Push, so it doesn't matter. Just means that their Grief still gets to attack, which is awkward. Oh, they have the 2 things, so we'll do this. And at least get 1 value out of the Psychic Frog. So I can trade with Grief. Oh, no, I can't because it can't block. Alright, fine. And if I were to jump my Psychic Frog, they do go to 10, but then I do take Bowmaster's damage, and then I go way lower. Oh no, things are getting bad. Does a Reanimate even do anything for me? Reanimate, Snapcaster, Fatal Push. Okay. Guess I like that. Question is, do I get to see my next turn? No attacks. End turn. I'll take another 4. Possibly more than that. Alright, take my turn. I think if we eat the Bowmasters, we feel kind of happy. Take our Fatal Push. Fatal Push, take out the Bowmasters. Now if we draw Brainstorm, we're not dead. And we'll pass, no attacks. They will trade for our Psychic Frog though, which feels bad. Oh god, it's Demonic Tutor. Man. They can get not dead after all here, so they might not attack with Grief. Which gives me a chance to have Psychic Frog not die in combat. Nope, okay, we are doing the trade then. And then it's basically just if I discard this card, my Snapcaster Mage lives. Oops. Alright. Oculus is a live draw now. We do not get it. We get a land instead. Surveil Atraxa away. That is completely uncastable. No attacks. I think we need to make this trade, but what did they tutor for? Oh, surgical. No, reanimate. Oh, no. Alright, well, crap. They play their own Atraxa. They have Bowmasters. I think that we are dead here pretty soon. They'll play a land. They can Bowmasters my guy. Oh, they'll actually Dark Ritual into something possibly worse. It's Reanimate plus Bowmasters. Alright. Yeah. Now we're looking officially super dead here. Another Orcish Bowmasters from hand will finish us off, and we will die. So, no Oculus for us here in round 5. I've had a bunch of games that either ended in either a quick concession from them or a pretty boring beatdown from my opponents. I think we had a good middle game here, so I am going to call it here for the video. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the deck. If you did, do check out the Mox Field link in the description. Do give it a like, comment. That helps with the algorithm. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe for videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And do stick around. Oh my god, that was a bad time for my timer. And then do stick around for the Sultai version of this deck. That is probably going to be one of the next videos that I release. At any rate, thanks for sticking around here, and I'll see you in the next one.